If you think Florida made carrying simple, you could be one bad stop away from a criminal charge. And the worst part is, many gun owners are breaking rules they do not even know still exist. Quick question before we continue. Are you subscribed? Because what I'm about to reveal could keep you from making a mistake that follows you for years. Hit that button now and let's get into it. Here's what just happened in Florida. And here's where people get confused. A lot of gun owners heard permitless carry and thought that meant the state removed the rules. That is not what happened. Florida now lets some people carry a concealed firearm without getting a concealed weapon license first, but that only applies if you still meet the legal standards to qualify. In plain English, the permit may be optional for some people, but the legal requirements are not. First thing you need to know, Florida still expects you to qualify in almost every important way. You generally need to be 21 or older. You cannot be a prohibited person. That means no felony firearm ban, no active disqualifying court issues, and no other state or federal rule blocking you from having a gun. If you have serious mental health disqualifiers, certain domestic violence problems, active injunctions, or recent drug-related disqualifiers, this is where the danger starts. Most people think, well, I bought the gun, so I must be fine. Not always. Buying and carrying are related, but they are not always the same question. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Florida's permitless carry law did not mean no standards. It meant you may carry concealed without a license if you still fit the legal box. And here's the part nobody talks about enough. The state did not require the same training proof for permitless carry that it requires for getting the license. So yes, some people can carry without ever taking the class. Is that legal for some people? Yes. Is that smart? That is a whole different question. Let me explain why this matters. Imagine you bought a pistol, tossed it in a holster, and started carrying because your buddy said, Florida's wide open now. Then you get stopped. The officer starts asking basic questions. Suddenly, you realize you never checked whether an old injunction is still active, or whether a past case was really cleared the way you thought, or whether you even fall inside the group allowed to carry without a license. That is how regular people get dragged into legal trouble. Second, if you carry without a license in Florida, you still need valid identification on you. That part catches a lot of people off guard. If law enforcement demands it, you have to show it. Don't make this mistake. Do not assume permitless carry means no paperwork at all. No permit does not mean no ID. Those are two different things. Here's a hypothetical example to explain this. You leave the house to grab gas. You slip your handgun inside your waistband under a loose shirt. You have your phone. You have your wallet. No, it's on the kitchen counter. You get involved in a minor accident. Police arrive. You are calm, respectful, and legal in every other way. But when the officer demands identification, now you have a problem you could have avoided in 5 seconds. And there's one more trap. Florida allows concealed carry in this setup, not open carry in general public life. That word concealed matters more than people think. If you're carrying, your gun needs to stay concealed. A lot of viewers hear that and panic. They ask, what if my shirt lifts for 1 second? Florida law does recognize that a brief, accidental display is not the same as unlawful open carry, as long as you're not showing it in an angry or threatening way. But here's what most people get wrong. They turn that small protection into a big excuse. It was just showing a little. Maybe. But do you want to bet your freedom on how another person describes what they saw? This is the part that shocked a lot of gun owners after the law changed. Florida made concealed carry easier for some people. It did not make sloppy carry safer. If your gun prints badly, flashes when you reach up, or gets exposed because your holster is junk, that can still turn into a very bad day. So if you're going to carry again, carry like a grown-up. Good holster, good belt, good cover garment, good judgment. The law gives you room to be lawful. It does not give you room to be careless. If you're finding this helpful, imagine what you'll learn in my next video about the exact things that can turn a simple police contact into a legal nightmare. Subscribe so you don't miss it, because small details like this are where big mistakes happen. Now let's talk about the places that can wreck your whole day, because this is where even careful gun owners slip up. Most people think the big rule is simple. If it's concealed, I'm good. Wrong. Florida still has a long list of places where carrying is off limits. And yes, that applies even if you have a license. So if you are carrying without a license, you are walking into the same restricted places problem. Here are the big ones you need burned into your brain. Police stations, sheriff's offices, highway patrol stations, jails and detention facilities, courthouses, courtrooms, polling places, government meetings, legislative meetings, school facilities, school administration buildings, career centers, school and college athletic events that are not firearm related, the bar area of a place that is mainly serving alcohol for drinking there, the inside of airport passenger terminals and sterile areas, and any place banned under federal law. But here's the crazy part. The list is not always as obvious as people think. A restaurant is a great example. People say, you can't carry in a restaurant that serves alcohol. That is not the full story. The danger area is the part mainly devoted to alcohol service. So if you walk into a restaurant and head straight to the bar section, now you may be stepping into the legal danger zone. Same building, different section, very different outcome. Imagine this. You meet friends for dinner. You are carrying legally. The hostess says the only open seats are at the bar. And you think, no big deal, I'm not drinking. That may not save you. The issue is not only whether you ordered alcohol. The issue is where you are carrying. That is why I tell people this all the time. Do not rely on common sense alone. Gun law is full of spots where common sense loses to technical details. Now let me break down another huge trap, schools. This one gets people because normal life and school property mix together fast. Maybe you are picking up your child. Maybe you are attending a school event. Maybe you just pulled onto school property for a quick reason. Florida treats school property very seriously. There are limited exceptions in some vehicle situations, but this is not an area to wing it. If your day involves a school, slow down and think before you drive in armed. And wait, there's something even more important. The law also hits hard if a firearm is displayed in a rude, careless, angry, or threatening way at a school event or on school grounds. So even people who think, I never carry inside the building, can still get themselves into trouble by being careless near school property. If your life involves school pickup lines, school sports, or after-school events, this is one area where laziness can cost you badly. Now let's talk about open carry, because this is probably the biggest myth in Florida right now. Florida did not become an open carry state just because permitless carry passed. Let me say that again. Florida did not become an open carry state for normal public carry. If you strap a pistol on your hip and walk into a gas station thinking they changed the law, you're asking for trouble. That is still generally illegal. Here's what fools people. They hear that a brief accidental display is not automatically a crime, and they stretch that into open carry is basically fine. No, brief exposure is not the same as intentionally carrying openly. Those are very different things. If your shirt rides up for a second while grabbing cereal from a top shelf, that is one thing. If your firearm is hanging out where everyone can see it because you chose a bad setup, that is another thing. Have you ever wondered why these little details matter so much? Because in the real world, police do not arrive with a YouTube comment section. They arrive after a call from someone saying, there's a man with a gun, and now your peaceful grocery trip becomes a legal event. Maybe you beat the charge later. Great. You still lost time, money, and peace. That is why the safest carry is not just lawful carry. It is low drama carry. Now, quick legal note. This is educational information, not legal advice. Always consult an attorney for your specific situation. Hey, 73% of people watching right now aren't subscribed. Don't be part of that group. Join the gun owners who want the facts before they carry, not after they get stopped. Click subscribe and stay ahead of these changes. Now let's get into the real world part nobody's talking about enough. What happens during normal daily life? Traffic stops, parking lots, work, road trips. That is where Florida gun law becomes very real, very fast. Start with the traffic stop. Imagine you are driving home at night. You're carrying concealed without a license, but you are otherwise legal to do it. You get pulled over for a broken taillight. Your heart rate jumps. Your brain starts racing. Here's what matters. Stay calm. Keep your hands visible. Do not start reaching around wildly. And remember this key point. If you are carrying without a license, Florida requires you to have valid identification and show it if law enforcement demands it. Forgetting that ID can turn a simple stop into a problem. Now, I'm not telling you what script to use with police in every situation. That depends on facts, tone, and legal advice for your case. But I'm telling you this. Panic gets people in trouble. Fast hands get people in trouble. Smart carry includes thinking through the stop before it happens, not during. Third thing, your car matters. Florida gives gun owners meaningful protection when it comes to keeping a lawful firearm locked inside a private vehicle in many parking lots. And that surprises people. A lot of workers think, my employer posted a no-guns rule, so I can't even leave it locked in my car. In many Florida situations, that is not true. The law generally protects your right to keep a legal firearm locked inside or locked to your private vehicle in a parking lot. But wait, do not run too far with that. There are exceptions. School property is a major one. Correctional property is another. Certain defense and explosive or federally restricted places can be different too. And your employer's vehicle is not the same as your own private car. So the rule is not your car beats every property rule. The real rule is more careful than that. Here's a hypothetical example to explain this. You work at a normal private office. You drive your own truck. Your handgun is lawfully stored, locked, and out of sight in that truck. In many cases, Florida law gives you protection there. Now change one fact. You're parking on school property, or you're driving a company-owned vehicle, or the property falls under a special exception. Suddenly, the answer may change. Same gun, same person. Different location, different law. This is why I always say location is everything. The firearm itself may be legal, your carry status may be legal, but the place can still make you illegal. Now, let's talk about why the Florida concealed weapon license still matters. It is one of the smartest moves many gun owners miss. They hear permitless carry and think the license is dead. It is not dead, not even close. First, the license can still help with reciprocity. That just means other states may recognize your Florida license, but they do not recognize Florida's permitless carry just because you are from Florida. If you travel, this matters a lot. Imagine you cross state lines for work, family, or vacation. You think, I'm legal in Florida, so I'm fine. That assumption can break down fast. A Florida license can still make travel much easier. Without it, you may lose that extra layer of protection across state lines. Second, the license can still help you when buying from a dealer in Florida. Florida still has a waiting period on many firearm purchases, but a concealed weapon license can help you avoid that delay in some cases. So the license is not just a carry card, it saves time and value. Here's another warning most people miss. If a court issues a risk protection order against you, that changes everything. This is a court order that can block you from having or getting firearms if the court finds you pose a serious danger. If that happens, carrying anyway is not some harmless paperwork issue. It can become a felony problem. So before you carry again, make sure you are not looking only at the gun. Look at your legal status too. And one more thing, Florida law still says a person under 21 generally cannot purchase a firearm from a licensed dealer, with narrow exceptions. So if you're helping a younger friend understand the law, do not give them lazy advice. Just buy it and carry it is bad information. Laws change fast, and the details that protect you today can be the exact details people forget tomorrow. Subscribe now, because the next video will break down the most dangerous myths. So here's the takeaway. Florida did not remove the rules. It removed one piece of paper for some people. You still have to be legally eligible. You still have to carry concealed, not openly. You still need valid ID, and you still have to stay out of restricted places. If this video helped you slow down and think before carrying again, do me one favor and subscribe right now. Share this with one gun owner who still thinks permitless means carefree, because that misunderstanding can ruin a life. And remember, this video is for education only. Laws change, facts matter, and your exact situation may be different. So talk to a qualified attorney if you need legal advice.